Trying to think of something clever to say to start the show in a nice way, and I drew a complete blank. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I'm your host, Monk, and we're here to chat. Sorry about the 2 days off. I was violently ill 2 days ago and then just sore yesterday. So we're back, and I made it worse today because I went out with my wife and did a lot of walking. And apparently I am not in the shape for a lot of walking. But I'm happy. I'm in a good place, and we're going to laugh at some morons today because that's what we do around here. Hope you're well. Hope you've been well, and that it continues throughout Pride Month, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Pride Month officially kicked off 2 hours and 32 minutes ago here in the United States. And oh, I'm so happy. I couldn't be happier than to go and buy me some white Skittles. Although didn't Skittles say they weren't going to do that anymore? They were like, oh no, it seems like we're not supporting Pride by making our normally rainbow candy white. I want to meet the marketing genius who came up with that. The one who was like, you know what we should really do for Pride? Get rid of our signature Taste the Rainbow. The only rainbow that matters this month is the gay one. It really sounds like you're hiding your retarded cousin in the closet so nobody sees him. Am I the only one who thinks that? Shame month. I don't think necessarily shame. You hear me, Faithless? I just don't understand being proud of your sexuality. I'm happy with my sexuality. I'm glad that I don't have to take it in the bottom or put a meat stick in my mouth. You know what I mean? And I don't understand the pride in it. I really don't. I am a heterosexual man, but I've never had that be anything defining about me. It's just something I am. I didn't achieve it. I didn't like work really hard at it. I didn't have to do anything. It just is. Now I will give it to gay men. They got a little bit of pain in their sexuality, I guess, and maybe you want to be proud of being able to tolerate it. I don't fucking know. White women do that shit for people's birthdays all the time. What's so special about you? Pride Month begins as a day. It was just a day, and it was to commemorate the Stonewall incident, where a bunch of gay people got arrested at a gay club, and it sparked a riot. And next thing you know, we got Floyd-esque gay riots running around the country because some people were being publicly indecent, and the police went to arrest everybody there and check them out. And so they had a day. We were going to commemorate the riot, and can't wait till we have Floyd month. But this grows into Pride Week, and then they were like, no, we need longer. Just proving that if you give a gay man an inch, he's going to want a foot. I actually feel a little bad for that one. But now it's Pride Month. And last year, if you guys remember, they wanted to make it Pride Summer. Remember that? Pride Summer. We got to have gay for 90 days. Oh, man. They're a bunch of narcissists. That's why I called it Narcissist Month. And it needs to be renamed Narcissist Month. Nobody cares that you're gay. Nobody cares. But apparently we're supposed to show our support. For my support, I'm going to try every day of this month to call at least one person gay. That's how I'm going to show my pride this month, is calling people gay. Because I feel like that really gets into the spirit of it, right? I just don't understand why I have to give a rat's ass about your sexuality. The only time I care about your sexuality is if I'm having sex with you, or you're touching children, in which case and whoever you put your wiener in or let put a wiener in you. Or I'm sorry, we got to talk about the lesbians. I don't do the wiener at all. Yeah, we know. That's why you're so angry. Am I the only one that, okay, this is going to probably get me in a little trouble. Am I the only one that doesn't consider lesbians to be, oh, hang on. Am I roboting? Let me fix that real fast. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. I'm singing my way and I'm coming back song. All right, we should be back. Hi. Okay. Let me get into my trouble. Am I the only one that doesn't think lesbians deserve any credit at all? And I don't mean like in their real life, but like when it comes to being gay. Gay men have to make a sacrifice, right? Gay men have to put something in their body, whether orally or anally. They have to actually commit. There's a commitment to putting a wiener in your mouth, right? There's a commitment to letting somebody Greek you, we'll say it that way. But when it comes to lesbians, it's like sometimes I lick stuff. I feel like it's not a real commitment. Other than having to deal with another angry woman. But when it comes to like the actual act, I feel like it's a cop out almost, right? Like I lick stuff. I lick a little tiny nodule on my woman. That's not a commitment. And you can walk away from it with no problem. That's not a life altering event. I've never had gay sex, but I have had a prostate exam, and let me tell you, that will change you. That will change you. And lesbians, they don't really have to commit the way gay men do. So I give gay men a little bit more credit than I do lesbians. Because you actually have to do something, right? You have to, I don't want to say debase yourself because that's not the right word. You have to commit. You really have to commit to that. Anyway, probably shouldn't be giving my opinions on why lesbians shouldn't get any credit. Let's talk about Glenn Greenwald. Why? Oh wait, Jack, didn't I send you the link? What the fuck? I sent it. Oh. Try again. I was wondering why you weren't here. I saw you on Twitter right after I sent it, but yeah, sorry. I had the pink text there. I didn't catch it. That's my bad, my friend. You got it now. Come hang out and talk about lesbians with me. Depends on how big your doctor's knuckles are. I didn't realize how big my doctor's hands were until I had my prostate exam, and then I was very sad to find out. I wanted to find a female doctor with tiny little hands like my wife, because that's still going to be traumatic, but not as, you know what I mean? Boomer, because Twitter didn't work properly. I don't think you understand that word, boomer. If a man bangs a man even once, he's gay for life, but a woman is just experimenting. Well, it's because there's not the commitment to it. It's, let's see, what's something nasty that you could put in your mouth? Guacamole, right? There's a huge difference between just licking some guacamole and taking a mouthful of it. You know what I mean? One is a commitment. That shit's all in your mouth. The other one, you're just going to taste it a little bit. What's up, my friend?
I walk in to take a mouthful of it.
Take a mouthful of it, yeah. Am I wrong about lesbians?
No, gay men are way more committed to their craft than lesbians are.
And they have to be. That's what makes it work.
Yeah, because I've seen lots of lipstick lesbians over the years. And there's this one chick I knew whose mom ended up coming out of the closet in her 40s. So her daughter immediately is like, I'm gay now too, even though I'd seen like 10 dudes plow that chick over the years.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like,
Well,
come on, you're full of shit. And while she was dating a woman, she was banging a dude on the side. You know who you are if you're listening.
there's a whole difference in how even they treat it. Like, you'll see women get really drunk and kiss their friend, like a deep kiss. No man does this. No man gets really drunk and plops a deep kiss on Bob and is like, that was so funny.
No, straight man. No.
That's because women don't have to commit to be gay. Men, you guys, you have to commit.
Yeah, I mean, saying. there's a lot more to it, especially because men are not as like soft and attractive and rounded as women are.
Right.
Women are pretty. Men are like giant potato monsters. So yeah, there's a lot more of a commitment there.
If you look at the ideal female and male body, and I know it's a little different for everyone. We all have our own ideas, but trim, fit people. Women are, you're right, they're round and soft, where men are bulky and square. We're like Roblox characters.
Yeah, but the majority of men are more like Mr. Potato Head.
True, yeah.
Because, I mean, let's be honest. There's a whole fetish for that anyway.
When we get boobs, it's not attractive.
No, not at all. And they're not soft and fun to play with. There's way more hair involved.
Yeah, so.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, folks. How are you today? Hey, I'm not the one that made it Pride Month. All right, Jack, we got to talk about Glenn Greenwald here.
Okay.
Let me on the screen. There it is. Oh, Monkey, you're forgetting the lesbians have to deal with other lesbians. No, I didn't. I did mention that they have to deal with other angry women. I said that. But Evolve Potato, thank you. Monkey, you're forgetting that lesbians have to deal with other lesbians. That's very dangerous for them. It is dangerous for them, but that's a choice that they're making to put themselves in danger.
Some chicks are into it. I mean, what?
Yeah. I understand that aspect of it, but getting your ass beat isn't a sexuality, okay? That's what I'm talking about.
That's a kink.
That's a kink. Yeah. If you, I mean, I don't want to downplay the danger, because ladies, please understand, if you hook up with a lesbian, you are far more likely to be assaulted than if you hook up with a man. It's just the numbers. I didn't do it. So lesbians, please be careful out there. Get yourself some mace and a good attorney who can get you a quick protection order. But when it comes to the sexual part of it, yeah, men are the ones that actually have to commit, where gay women are just like, I'll lick it a little bit. He. You know, you'll hear, like she used to be a lesbian. You don't really hear he used to be gay. Even like Milo, who's like, I'm not gay anymore, but he's still gay. Once you take a dick, that's your rep. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it kind of lingers there, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like a salty taste. Hey, women. All right, let's talk about Glenn. So Glenn Greenwald had videos and pictures leaked, Jack.
Oh, no.
They were leaked.
Why is he filming them if he doesn't want them leaked?
Well, he didn't film it. Somebody else did. Now, I don't know a whole lot about the videos, because what I did hear made me go, I'm not looking up any more about that. No, thank you. In the one video I heard about, he was like licking spit off the floor as he wore a French maid outfit and kissing somebody's feet.
Wait, are we talking about Hassan, or are we talking about Glenn Greenwald? I forgot.
Glenn Greenwald in this case, yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, he's got some weird kinks. All right.
Well,
my business. I don't want to know.
Here's the thing. I said on Twitter, and I stand by most of this, that I don't care about what consenting adults do. Apparently, he paid some prostitute to debase him. Okay. Yeah, people do this kind of weird shit all the time. I don't know why.
There's lots of people that like to be dominated. It's weird. It's not my thing, but it's none of my business either. What
Well,
what you
that's
do in your weird fetish time. If it doesn't affect me, I don't care.
Now, I will laugh at you if your kink gets out there because it's funny. You would rather lick somebody else's spit off the floor than have the money that you paid that person to treat you that way.
Especially if they're like some kind of weird foot fetishist, I will make fun of those people.
Yeah. Evolve says, I'm going to judge and laugh. Yeah, me too. Me too. However, when it comes to the leak part of it, this is where it gets a little weird, Jack, because the videos were posted online. And Glenn Greenwald himself retweeted it.
Was it Glenn himself or was it one of his interns that saw that Glenn was mentioned in something and didn't look at it?
Considering how quickly it came back down, it was probably Glenn himself. I don't know that Glenn has interns that does his Twitter.
I don't either, but there's always that chance because he is like well known or like high functioning. No, he's rich. That's what I'm getting at.
Or the guy who paid somebody to humiliate him was just completing the humiliation ritual.
Yeah, I mean, that is a possibility here.
And what I said on there was it was refreshing that this stuff had to be leaked because most of these people do it in public, and then he retweeted it. So I guess he did it in public too. He shouted it out there. And then he gave us this thing. Last night, videos were released online depicting behavior in my private life. It wasn't depicting it. It was actually video of you doing it, dude.
Yeah.
Depicting implies that it's a recreation like America's Most Wanted or something.
Oh, man. Imagine that, like a revenge porn, America's Most Wanted.
Yeah.
They reenact it.
I mean,
it's going to be porn.
Technically, the use of depicting does work there, but he really should have said showing because that's the more correct word.
Yeah.
Some were, what does it say, distorted, and others were not. They were published without my knowledge or consent. Bro, you retweeted them.
Well, that doesn't mean they were published without his consent.
Typically, when something is published without your consent, though, you don't, endorse it with a retweet.
Typically, yeah, but I mean...
And at that point, he becomes a publisher. He retweeted it.
Yeah, but before that, he didn't. So he's not technically wrong. It's just that he didn't seem to mind at first.
This is like Jake Tapper saying, I asked Biden about his age. Sure, but that's not the point.
Yeah, exactly. It's a misdirection, a sleight of hand, if you will.
Dangerous Spaces, thank you. Lesbianism can just be a small, momentary spark. Gay interactions really need to be flaming. By the way, Skittles not only eliminated the rainbow, but also created a packet accidentally declaring white pride. True. But if I remember correctly, they said they weren't going to do that this year. And I was at the store yesterday, which technically wasn't Pride Month yet, but I didn't see any white packages, so. Okay, Jack, this is off topic. When it comes to like flavored candies and stuff, the coloring is all artificial. Your Skittle isn't orange because of all the orange goodness in it turned it that color. They put a dye on it.
Oh my God, how dare you ruin everything for me.
But I would have, I've never tried the white Skittles, but I would have trouble eating the white Skittles because my brain is like that. The red ones should be red and taste slightly like cherry. You know what I mean?
Well, I wouldn't like that just because you're getting mystery flavors. Yeah. I mean, what if the white ones all taste like, white, like coconut or something?
Even if they were all, because yellow is actually my favorite when it comes to Skittles. Even if they were all the yellow flavor, but they were white, my brain would reject it.
Yeah.
Because it should be yellow.
Look, as a man who prefers yellow,
see what you did.
I understand completely what you're saying.
Glenn goes on to tell us, though we don't yet know exactly who was responsible, it was the hooker you paid, dude. It was the male escort you paid. That's who it came from. You followed their account.
Well, to be fair, it could have been the pimp.
But it was, well, the person who filmed the video was the hooker, and it pops up on the hooker's account. I don't know who did that.
Well, this is probably part of some kind of blackmail scheme. Let's be honest. He didn't pay.
I don't think it is. I think this is humiliation ritual. I think that's all this was.
Oh yeah, maybe. It does seem like he's into that. But again, I have a hard time caring about this. So many celebrities have had their booby pictures and sex tapes leak. I don't want to see most of them. Jennifer Lawrence has weird boobs. Glenn Greenwald's a dude. I don't want to see any of that shit.
My real problem comes in from the chorus of people who are supporting him. And look, if you want to support him in this, look, I do not care about his sex life. Don't care. As long as he's not touching kids, I don't care.
Yeah. And that's really what it comes down to is, was this really like a revenge porn leak? Or is it just some weird kink?
But the narrative that has sprung up out of this is fucking insane. Glenn Greenwald has been declared by many, many people the best journalist ever.
That's silly.
Because somebody leaked his gay tape?
No, it's because he really hates Jews.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. A lot of these people are not on the Jew-hating bandwagon. But now that Glenn, they're trying to get him for speaking the truth. Like, you haven't paid attention to what Glenn's been talking about lately, have you?
Yeah, unless they hate Jews too. Yeah, now this thing where
real quick, there are some people who are like, the Jews are getting him. This is what he gets for speaking against the Jews.
Wasn't this a big black dude?
I have no idea.
Seriously,
I did not watch any of this.
Yeah, I saw too much of things I didn't want to see. There are not a whole lot of I think Mossad agents that could pass as sub-Saharan African. But
Pyra says, to be fair, it's not hard to be the world's best journalist. That is fair. Absolutely fair.
You just have to be better than Don Lemon, really.
It's just insane to me that it's suddenly... Look, I think Glenn has done some good reporting in his life. I think he's done a lot of shit reporting. And lately, he basically is like, there was a fire at an Applebee's. Jews probably did it.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But we have this issue in the States where people that have been seemingly wronged are suddenly untouchable.
Yeah.
They are above reproach. We have to have the holy victim, is what I'm calling it. Trademark, patent pending, copyright. I get a nickel every time you use it. You have to give me a nickel. So yeah, I think that it's part of that. They try to turn people into saints. Look at what they do when, like soldiers or cops get killed. They're suddenly above reproach, no matter how bad of a person they were prior to that. I mean, we saw with George Floyd.
Yeah.
But it kind of goes pervasively on every spectrum now, where no matter what you did prior to the incident, as soon as you are slighted in some regard, oh, you are just the bestest ever. You're so amazing. We love you. Ugh.
And I hear all that, and you're right. But my issue is that it's the same issue I had with my own take on this, because I didn't dig into it. I just saw that there was a leak, and I don't give a shit what he does. But him retweeting it, and I know you have the theory of maybe somebody else did it. I don't believe that for a moment, because
I'm just putting it out as a possibility.
He retweeted it. If he hadn't retweeted, how many people actually follow that prostitute?
How good is that prostitute?
Nobody would have seen that shit.
Probably not. No. They wouldn't have connected it to him anyway, because how many people... Glenn Greenwald is a very generic-looking guy.
Yep.
I don't mean to be mean, but he looks like... I get him and Jesse Waters confused a lot.
I could see that. I could.
Right?
I've seen enough of the two of them that I wouldn't confuse them, but it, like when I was first finding out who they were, because they have a generic enough face. You're right.
Yeah, it's generic white dude with dark hair. I mean, Glenn's Jewish, but Jesse looks kind of Jewish.
And you know what? In that regard, they are right. The Jew did it. He retweeted it.
Well, he also did the act, if you know what I'm saying.
That Jew got him by retweeting his own sex tape.
And he had a dong in his mouth.
This is like the Kardashians when they want to get famous. So Kim's tape leaks. Or sorry, Khloe, whichever one it was. Whoops! How'd that make its way to the internet? I don't know.
It was Kim's because nobody wants to watch Khloe.
What's the other one? Because she's actually the cuter one.
I don't know.
I forget. I used to have to. Courtney, that's it. Yeah, Courtney's the cuter of the three. Khloe looks like a dude. Kim looks like she's been used a lot.
She also looks like an abomination assembled by an alien that never actually saw a human.
It's not plastic surgery.
Then you're a mutant.
Yeah.
Not the fun kind of X-Men mutant either. You're the hideous mongoloid kind. Courtney got kind of fat, so
I haven't seen her in a long time.
I haven't either, but last time I saw her, I was like, you've put on a lot of weight. The last time she broke up with that guy that sells the air fresheners now. Scott, that's his name.
Sure.
I knew a few people that were obsessed with that show, and I was subjected to it way more than I wanted to. And,
Lady Monkey loved that show. I fucking hated it.
Yeah, it's vapid. It's like Jersey Shore. Nobody on there is likable. The only person I liked on there was Bruce Jenner. Because he seems like a fairly normal dude, and he's just been beaten down by the years of living with these people. And even then, I don't care about any of this. I feel like Bruce Jenner, and I want to escape, but I can't. So I'm gonna have to put on a disguise and sneak out.
Right.
I think that's what he was trying to do. He wasn't trying to be a woman. He was trying to just sneak out of that house.
There are people that there's actual revenge porn out there of them, and I feel bad for them. But I don't feel bad for Glenn here because you're the reason we're all talking about this.
If you don't want your nudes out there, don't get filmed having sex. If somebody starts filming it, stop what you're doing. Pretend you're doing a comedy skit and get the fuck out of there.
The retweet and the report are not even near each other on Twitter. So it's not like I was trying to report it and accidentally retweeted. You wanted this attention so that he could play the victim card. Look they're coming after me for my excellent reporting on the bad Jews. Fuck you, Glenn.
Well, it's possible this whole thing was staged that way to begin with.
I have no doubt.
Yeah, it wasn't just a matter of him seeing it and be like, this will get me some attention. But he might have even put the dude up to it. But I'll pay you extra to tweet it out. Oh, clamp my nipples. I don't know. Again, I don't give a shit about what he does in his private life. That's not my business. But nobody wants to look at you naked. Okay, get over yourself, people. That's what I'm really offended by. Is just too many people that think others want to see them naked. No, they don't. Okay, you're not that attractive. I'm sorry. There are plenty of ugly porn stars.
There's a fetish for that too. People who want to be seen, right? So.
Oh yeah, exhibitionists.
So fuck you, Glenn. You did this. You wanted the attention, and now you're playing the victim. Go get fucked. We're gonna watch this clip just because it's funny. So, down there in Texas, Jack, they are removing sawed-off shotguns from the illegal gun list.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow, that's actually very impressive.
This is somebody who's against it, Representative John Bryant of the 114th district there, who tells us this. Listen closely.
This bill legalizes sawed-off shotguns.
What? Did I
This
hear
bill
that right?
legalizes sawed-off shotguns.
I didn't know that was a weapon. I mean, if you don't want to kill someone, there's your humiliation fetish right there. Like, yeah,
I am against biological warfare.
I am too, especially sharding.
Sure. I mean, he thinks it's a shitty bill, Jack.
Apparently.
What a slip. How do you even get to shotgun?
Let me guess. He said it like 3 or 4 times too.
Then I know it's just the one time. Because I just saw this clip and we had to laugh at it. Sawed off shotgun. What a horrible thing that should be in a video game.
Oh, man.
This should be in like a South Park game, a shotgun.
It will be now.
You pull the trigger, you don't know if it's going to be a blank or a load.
Yeah, instead of rock salt, you just get poop.
Remember all those banks that they robbed in the 20s with shark guns?
You smell my gun, you know what it's capable of. Unless you want to get pooed, give me the money. That's messed up, dude.
It's gross, but it's funny. So, all right. Next up, we got some good news in the world. Although we're supposed to treat it like it's bad news, Jack. So get very somber.
I have all the sads for right now.
ICE is out there doing their job. I'm going to turn off this.
What, escorting illegals in still? Like giving them little cookies and stuff?
They arrested a bunch of people at this construction site. Yeah.
What, they're not playing touch football?
Nope. And you're supposed to feel bad because this is a construction crew that was building a building, and now they're not even sure if they can continue building the building. Why the fuck is a construction company that is hiring so many illegals that when they get raided, it shuts down their entire business allowed to be doing business?
The kind of construction company that's probably embezzling money and building things very poorly? I would question the quality of all of their construction.
No shit. Well, yeah, we're supposed to be upset by this because it's the halting construction. This guy might not even be able to keep his business in business. What? He's not going to be able to exploit illegals? Oh my goodness. The tragedy.
Yeah, his business is probably not very sound if he's having to do that, because he should be making money hand over fist because he's charging somebody for the labor costs of regular union employees or non-union employees even that are Americans, and the illegals are working for probably a third of that amount. So he should be raking in tons of cash.
I wonder if we need an illegal alien donation.
Ooh, yeah.
What would that be? 0.001? Because that's how much of that money stays in the U.S. economy. Jenna says this is a bad thing because we're supposed to feel bad that illegals are getting kicked out, that our government is actually doing their job and getting these fuckers out of our country. Like, how dare they? We need immigration reform. Get fucked. Get fucked with your nonsensical. We have another story about illegals, Jack.
I would say it's $9.35.
What would be $9.35?
That's the letters ICE.
Oh, there you go, $9.35. I'll never remember that.
No, I won't either. We need to make that a better number. $20 even. That'll be the
$10
ice donation.
$billion.
Yeah. I don't know.
The amount it costs states to put up with these shitheads.
Nobody has that kind of money.
Major breaking: the Trump administration has deported a second 2-year-old American.
You
Manu
mean her
Borges.
parents elected to take her home?
No, close. Manu Borges Santos was born in Florida, had a U.S. passport and Social Security. Brazilian officials were reportedly stunned to see her on the plane. This isn't policy, it's cruelty.
Brazilian officials were shocked because they're like, you could have stayed.
Do you want the official version or the family version?
Oh, the hyperbolic family version first. Then
According to the family, they were not given a choice to leave their daughter in the United States.
Of course.
Now, it is U.S. policy to offer that choice because of the stupid-ass anchor baby nonsense we have going on. And this is why anchor babies are bad.
Yeah, it breaks up families.
The 14th Amendment under the jurisdiction of the United States doesn't mean you happen to be traveling through the United States at the time. It's not what it meant. It's not what it ever fucking meant. The Supreme Court has a case going before it this term, Jack. We'll be getting the results here in the next month.
Yeah, I don't much trust them.
But even with that, they're not actually addressing that specifically. What they're addressing is Trump said anchor babies aren't a thing anymore. And a judge put an injunction in there. No. So what the court is actually looking at is whether or not a federal court, a district federal court, like the 9th district, whatever, can issue nationwide injunctions. The underlying question of the anchor baby bullshit isn't before the court right now, unless they decide to take it up in that case. But anyway, so the family, this is funny. In the article, it even says the family wasn't asked, but the dad did say they probably would have taken the child with them. Really? You're like, hey,
shocked. Parents that like their kid.
You could abandon your child or take it with you. Look, they took the child with them because, well, it's their child. She's 2. She wasn't deported. It's not like we kicked her out of the country. She went with her parents. Her parents
2
were
years
deported.
old. Are you really attached to that thing yet?
There is a quote in there that says that the dad, Mr. Gonzalez, said that maybe it was the mom, it's Gonzalez. I don't remember. But that they probably would have taken the child with them. But she has a brother who lives here, and maybe they would have sent the child to stay with him.
Was he an anchor baby too?
I have no idea. But I don't feel bad about this shit.
I don't either. Don't have kids if you're criminals.
The Brazilians don't even have a law to deal with this. Under their law, this child actually has to be kicked out of the country. So they're trying to force through a real quick law that will allow her to stay until her 18th birthday, in which case she'll have to leave because she's an American citizen.
Well, she can't come back here. Fuck that. She's, as far as we're concerned, she's Brazilian. That's how it should be. These people are coming here specifically to have kids so that they will be Americans, and it gives them the ability to stay. Because, you can't kick the parents out. Yes, we can. If anything, if we're going to keep these kids, they should be put in orphanages or adopted out. And made that explicitly clear. We will take your child away if you're an illegal immigrant plopping a kid out here.
Sin Nikki, thank you. Dems need to say what they mean. Black Americans don't count because they still pissed over slavery.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they mean. I mean, is anyone shocked by that?
If you're in a stable, it doesn't make you a horse. True. She's not an American citizen except by lazy birth certificate paperwork. Legally in the United States, she's a U.S. citizen right now. I agree. I'm not supporting it. I think birthright citizenship needs to be ended. If you are born to Americans, you're an American. If you're here legally and an actual citizen, then yes. Otherwise, you need to be naturalized. And this is nonsensical, and this bullshit that the court pulled, which, by the way, wasn't even over this kind of stuff, Jack. If you look up the case, I believe it was a Cuban immigrant at the time. But this is never what the 14th Amendment meant. This was about slavery.
Yeah, but they turned it into a feelings issue.
They turned it into literally everyone. And the congressman didn't respond to me. Shocking. But I think it was Schumer. I forget exactly. Some Democratic congressperson said, everybody born in the United States is an American. And I just asked him, okay, then explain the exceptions to that rule, because there are exceptions.
Yeah. Explain why when McCain was running for president, people kept trying to say that he wasn't actually an American because he was born in Panama.
Yep.
And his dad was stationed there, I think. Or Ted Cruz, because he was technically born in Canada, but his parents are Americans.
If everyone born in America is an American, then if a diplomat comes over and their wife squats out a kid here, they shouldn't be allowed to take that child home with them. That's an American citizen at that point.
Yep, that's abduction. You are kidnapping Americans.
Yep. But we make that exception, but not for people who come over here and try to anchor.
Well, those are future workers for the Democratic Party, so can't just kidnap their workforce.
They're the party of free labor.
Yeah, they like free labor. They want to seize the means of production.
Yeah, I'm so tired of this. Oh, she was deported. No, she wasn't. Knock that stupid shit off.
You know what they're gonna do is rename the Fugitive Slave Act. It'll be the previously deported Worker Act.
Previously deported Maid Act.
Yeah.
No, but we're supposed to be upset about that, and I'm just not. You can call it deporting the kid. We didn't. We deported her parents. And there was another one, Jack, because there have been several raids recently, big raids. There was just one in San Diego earlier where they go in and raid this business. They detained the entire business. That's as much as I've been able to find on the story. It was some restaurant. And the citizens around them got so upset that they started rioting, and the police had to get out the pepper spray and CS gas. And like, oh, look how bad these people are being treated. You're stopping law enforcement from getting the illegals out of here. And it's San Diego. It's the quickest trip back across the border anywhere in the States. For a major city.
You could actually use the catapults then.
We could. But I'm supposed to be upset because, and I quote, these are law-abiding citizens, the restaurant workers.
They're not citizens. And if they were law-abiding, they wouldn't be here.
The left has a hard time understanding that every moment that an illegal is in this country, they are breaking the law. Like, they're not breaking the law. They literally are right now. And until they leave, they absolutely are. The whole time. No. All right, Jack, we got to talk about one of the dumbest things I've heard recently. And that's saying a lot because, fuck, we've dealt with some stupid recently. The rise of the stay-at-home sons.
You mean shiftless layabouts?
Problem. And, Speaker Johnson has been talking about those maybe deadbeat folks that are on Medicaid, and maybe some of those folks.
Who is this blonde chick over here?
It's Tommy Learn.
Oh, there it is. It's at the bottom of the screen. I'm like, I know her face, but not enough to care about her name.
You didn't recognize her nose. See, she had a nose job, I think.
Okay.
If she had an original nose, you'd be like, oh, it's Tommy Learn.
The only time I ever see her anymore is like on Piers Morgan. She pops up once in a while, and she's always the one nobody talks to.
I kind of want to bang her. I don't know what it is, but I find her weirdly attractive.
Are the stay-at-home sons? We don't know. But I'll tell you this, leave it to Gen Z to rebrand laziness and social awkwardness as something cutesy, like a stay-at-home son. They did much the same thing with quiet.
I really can't disagree with her point there.
I can't either. It's the height of hubris to find excuses to be lazy by giving it a cutesy name. Like, I am so awesome. I am not a deadbeat loser who doesn't want to get a job. I'm a stay-at-home son. I stay home and make sure my mom remembers how to make nuggies.
Much the same thing with quiet quitting, where you can go to work and do less. And if
My problem, I wanted to play that point because she gets quiet quitting wrong. Quiet quitting is literally just, I'm going to do my job, which makes it even worse and more appropriate of a comparison.
Yeah, you're not doing less. You're just doing the bare minimum of your job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which they were doing anyway. Otherwise, they would have gotten ahead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, isn't that what most people do at their job? That's why they don't succeed.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, especially if you hate your job. Most people start out doing that, and then they start doing less. They start out doing the bare minimum, and then they do less. It's the go-getters that usually get the promotion, or the suck-ups, depending on how it works in your office.
James says, have you not seen the latest bullshit on TikTok? Teenage boys want to go to prison so they don't have to go to jail. Or sorry, don't have to get a job. Are you sure you weren't on Grindr?
I mean, I don't. A lot of people have a misconception that prison doesn't involve a lot of butt stuff. So, good luck with that. You're gonna be chugging some dong. No, I have to agree with Tommy Lahren. Stay-at-home son is a cutesy way of saying deadbeat loser. Good
Lazy,
job,
yeah.
you bum.
Stay-at-home son.
You know what's sad is.
Go ahead.
Oh, it's just sad because these are people that if they want to be lazy, they could get say they're gamers and get a YouTube channel and play video games all day, but they don't even do that. They're just fucking lame. They sit around all day. Oh, this one.
All right, our sports moment of the day.
And the pitch. Thunberger back in the fifth. Swing and a miss here first. 0-2 pitch. Struck. And the pitch. Thunberger back in.
Some good softball pitching there. Played baseball like a real man. This is a female. Sorry. This is a trans woman playing.
That's a dude.
That's a dude. It's a guy. It's a guy playing softball, and the team that they're playing against are the former national champions, who in back-to-back games, this guy zeroed. Shut him out in back-to-back games, the former national champions. Think it has anything to, and this guy was pitching in both games.
Yeah, so he has stronger upper body strength, faster reflexes, and probably could throw faster than almost anybody there that, other than the other dudes, I'd imagine.
Getting blanked in baseball is not unheard of, but back-to-back games from the same pitcher against the national champs, really?
That's unheard of.
Don't worry, guys. There's no difference between boys and girls in sports.
Yeah, this is getting tiresome. How much longer are women going to put up with this shit? You're watching your daughters lose out. Scholarships is bad enough, but the constant humiliation ritual, man, what are you, Glenn Greenwald? Come on.
Right?
See, that's a callback.
So this guy's a pitcher, didn't need to know that. Only on the mound. Well, let's be honest. He's probably banging chicks because most of these little freaks are still. So they can claim they're a lesbian.
Yeah, look, he came to be trans so he could see naked chicks in the locker room. He stayed for the accolades and awards.
Yeah. Because it's easier to beat girls than it is to be good enough to play against guys.
Yeah, exactly. Just ask most domestic abusers that are men.
Do I want to? I'm really tired of these two. All right, I'm just going to bring it up on the screen and we'll discuss it really briefly. Because Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson can go fuck themselves.
Yeah, they're charlatans. I'm sorry.
Here they are with Barry Weiss, and she's giving Alex accolades because he put his reputation on the line and he called out Biden when no one else was doing it. Except he didn't.
Yeah, and they only watch left-wing media, so for them, this is probably as close as it got to a call-out.
But this is why it bothers me, is because the press PR campaign is working. Like, it wasn't their fault. They were lied to, and the few who did try to speak up, they were shut down. Bullshit. He was still working for Axios. Thank you, Dangerous. How dare you not be furious at Trump for not separating families? Let's not forget the Dems think that things like shoplifting nearly $1,000 isn't a crime. So not surprising, really. That's true. I mean, they are the party of crime. They like it a lot, whether it's diddling kids or theft or murder. Yeah, they're all for it in the right circumstances.
Well, as long as you can come up with some kind of justification for it, they don't care about any crime.
Yeah.
Remember how many of them were celebrating the death of that CEO, that Luigi guy? They don't even care about murder. They could justify it because he was an evil capitalist pig dog or something. So it's all about the justification.
Well, I mean, that is a good segue to this video. And again, we're not going to watch it because I can't take any more of these two. But the whole thing has been a justification for why the press didn't see what was going on, refused to report on it. Now you have people like Jasmine Crockett out there talking about wanting to 25th Donald Trump because I don't know what he's doing. Biden got lost on his lawn repeatedly.
Yeah, but they knew what he was doing. He was meandering about. But Trump, I don't know. He's the Hitler monster. So we gotta impeach him.
And we watched that clip of Tapper where he's like, "We don't know anything about Trump's health. They have not been sharing information about his health." Notice he hasn't said age when it comes to Donald Trump like he did with Biden.
Sir, that is a hate fact. We're gonna have to ignore that. Also, I think I figured out the Hitler thing just now.
Go ahead.
You want? Oh, I didn't know if you actually wanted to hear it.
Sure.
You know where this is going. Do you ever see that movie Fallen with Denzel Washington?
Maybe.
Okay, it's about this like ghost, or I think it's supposed to be a fallen angel that jumps body to body.
Oh, I have. I like that movie. That movie's pretty good.
Yeah, surprisingly good, even though Denzel's in it, because he always plays the same guy, as far as I'm concerned. I think that's what they think Hitler is. He's a spirit that jumps between bodies, and they have to identify him to vanquish the spirit. So they think that that Trump's not the reincarnation of Hitler. He has Hitler's soul controlling him.
That movie's underrated. It's kind of underrated. It's very underrated.
Yeah, it's shockingly underrated.
I'm shocked to hear you say Denzel always plays the same thing because
I do not like that man.
Not liking him's one thing, but that man can clearly act.
I think he's an overrated actor.
And again, fair enough. But the same. Have you never seen Carbon Copy?
I don't think so.
You've never seen Carbon Copy is an 80s movie. It's one of Denzel's. It might even be his first film credit. He plays a black man who finds out that his father is an old white guy.
Oh, okay.
It's a pretty funny movie, actually.
Is it the sequel to Soul Man?
So very 80s. So very 80s. Anyway, Jasmine here is going to talk stupid to us.
Talk
Talk
about medical
stupid to
issues.
me.
We also could have a conversation about Trump, because I don't know what's going on. I know that he's not necessarily the creme de la creme in general, because we know that potentially part of his issues as it relates to Harvard is that, well, he got rejected.
We don't know that. That is some bullshit that was just made up in the press. It started out with lies that Barron Trump got rejected from Harvard, and then that was easily disproven because he didn't even apply there. And so some Trump biographer, they keep saying it, Trump biographer. Some dude who's writing a book about Trump, is he like the official biographer? Suggests Trump might have been rejected from Harvard. He went to the Wharton Business School, Jack.
What?
Yeah. But he's just carrying out a 5-decade-old grudge against Harvard by pointing out that they are being racist and saying he's going to take their money away if they don't knock it the fuck off. What a dick.
Yeah, you mean the fact that they had been warned many, many times regardless of all that?
But this is the narrative now, because a couple of fly-by-night news sites on the internet said Trump might have been. There's no proof of this. None. But we now know this might be why he don't like them.
That's fucking dumb.
Yeah. We want to talk about Trump's health. We should look. Or sorry, we want to talk about presidential health. We should look at Trump. Trump, he's the bad one. If we looked at Biden, we'd have to admit we lied to y'all and knew what was wrong with him. There's no way anybody who paid literally any attention thought Biden was coherent at all. There's no way you could believe that.
Yeah.
You would need to be in a special home with somebody watching over you to make sure you did not hurt yourself constantly for you to actually have looked at any of Biden's stuff and been like, he is awesome. He's so smart and eloquent. Even his Dark Brandon speech, the one that they all were like, go Hitler.
Right.
Even that was an incoherent mess.
Yeah, it had a few moments of lucidity, and that was about it.
So we know that he's not ever been known as kind of like the scholarly guy. We know that
he's got a degree in economics from Wharton.
They refuse to accept that, though. I mean, they cannot portray him as being educated in any respect. Never mind the fact that the guy's a billionaire. He's found every tax loophole he can, and he's well-spoken. He doesn't talk like toothless Billy Bob that screams at the wind.
AOC has her bullshit economics degree from Boston, and like, she's the smart. He's got a degree from Wharton in the 60s, back when we actually cared about education.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, he's not that smart. He never shown that he's smart at all. Right. I fucking hate lawyers.
Yeah, you can't trust them ever.
Which is what Jasmine is, guys. She gets out of law school and then goes to work for like BLM firms. So she's not a good lawyer, but she's a lawyer.
he will never be known as this amazing orator as some of our former presidents were, Barack Obama.
Barack Obama was not a good orator. He was a good reader.
Yeah.
And we all know that.
Well, it's a misunderstanding of the word orator, because they usually could give speeches that they wrote, not just reading a teleprompter. Any asshole
Another
can
one.
read a teleprompter.
And if his teleprompter screwed up, he was fucked. We've seen it.
If.
Somebody find me the If video. I haven't watched it in a long time.
his favorites, right? We know that that's not his wheelhouse, but we also know that like he is like next level unhinged. And
Biden got lost on the White House lawn. Point to anything close to that Trump has done.
You know, I kind of take issue with the phrase next level, because if it's on the next level, how do you know you haven't been there yet? Because it's next.
Good question.
And he's been unhinged since the campaign. Like the fact that people ignore the fact that he was constantly talking about the whales or the sharks, and he was talking about, I mean, the windmills. I don't know. I mean, just all over the place. And
can't even give a specific example of what you're talking about. Jack, if I had to pressure you right now to give me one thing that pointed to Biden being gone, could you do it specifically, or would you have to get really vague?
No, I could get specific. The Easter Bunny, the shaking hands with ghosts, the speech where he wandered off to one side, then stopped, turned around and went to the other side, then went back again.
But he's unhinged because he said windmills and sharks and whales.
I think she's thinking of Don Quixote. He tilted at windmills.
Yes, he did. Look, I don't think Trump is the most eloquent speaker. He's just not. He's plain spoken, Jack.
Yeah, he speaks the common man's tongue.
And he meanders like we do on here when we typically expect our politicians. This is a speech on economics. It's just going to be on economics. And if Trump gives that speech, he will talk about some fat woman he knows.
Yeah, it'll eventually come back to economics, but he's got a couple stories in there that are going to be sidetracks.
And it'll make logical sense how he got there, even if it doesn't make logical sense to the overall speech theme.
Yeah, it's still connected in a linear sense, but it's a side quest, you know.
Yeah.
He just went on a little side quest, came back, but it connected. He had to go get a piece of something to build the weapon that kills the bad guy. You know, that's the whole thing. Oh, real fast, thank you, Evolved Potato. I was arguing against an idiot that thought because during his first term, Trump lost money, he's terrible at managing his business. You know, the only time he specifically wasn't managing his business? Yeah, or taking a paycheck from the government. He got paid $1 and gave it away.
Evolve asked, does she mean how sea wind turbines disturb whales, causing them to die? Yes, that's what she's trying to talk about. And this is a known phenomenon. The whales communicate with each other, Jack, yelling at each other and shit. Yeah. And the turbines seem to be causing an issue with that.
Yeah. Same thing with birds. Some birds seem to have navigational issues around them. It's probably the electromagnetic fields around them. Although if they're communicating with whales somehow, Aquaman is going to be pissed.
They're going to send a probe. The sidetrack. This is a known thing, and she's pretending like this means Trump is crazy. Biden started talking about some dude's penis when he was asked what kind of papers he had at the Naval Observatory.
Yeah. And Hank Johnson said Guam would flip over.
Yes.
Trump has never made an outrageous claim like that. That what Trump was talking about, the wind turbines, is a known thing. That other people have talked about that well before Trump. It's not like he figured it out.
Well, it's the same thing with the wall. I mean, everything Trump says, Trump did. He made it all up in his own little head. No, the wall thing was going on for more than a decade before Trump came in.
Yeah, even the thing with putting light down someone's throat.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. It's UV light.
Well, I saw somebody the other day, I forget who it was, but they were talking about this saying, you know, Trump, remember he told you guys to pour bleach down your throat. I'm like, man, you fucked up the whole narrative of that thing. It was bleach in the veins and swallowing a UV light, which is an actual medical thing they do.
Yeah, that's real technology. They also had this cool, like, robot UV thing they could put in a room, and it'll do a burst of UV light as long as nobody's in the room, of course, and sterilize the room.
Yeah.
It's kind of awesome. You know how much time and money that would save with that thing on cleaning crews and cleaning equipment? You don't have to worry about all the harsh chemicals.
And when it came to the bleach in the veins, that's not even something Trump ever said. He was talking about how disinfectant worked, and maybe there's a way to find a way to use disinfectant in the human body.
Yeah,
you
have to listen to the context of what he was talking about.
Some might even say that an antibiotic does that.
Yeah, I mean, that does seem to be kind of a good descriptor of that. But then again, he also said to take horse dewormer or whatever.
They treat it like he was out there saying we should put leeches on each other.
Yeah, or like the Jewish space lasers.
And recently at West Point decided to talk about trophy wives and decided to talk about his investigations. And then right after the crypto event, he...
Why does that make him crazy? He talked about something. So what?
Couldn't read the words on the teleprompter. Like he did not know the words. He couldn't read it. I don't know what's going on. But like, if we want to talk about something.
Okay, I'm going to have to look that one up because I have no idea what she's talking about. And I feel like if that was a real thing, then I would have seen it all over Twitter.
Yeah, I would venture a guess that somebody that entered the information in the teleprompter probably misspelled a word. And he was trying to suss it out. That's what I would guess happened, if this even happened.
Let's see. Trump West Point over on Twitter. At West Point commencement, a slurring, rambling Trump claimed he gave a recent commencement speech at Ohio State. He didn't. It was the University of Alabama. Okay.
Suck it, Ohio State.
I'm listening to him talk, and there's not even any slurring, so whatever.
Yeah, they're doing their best to dress it up like he's the one with the Biden issues.
Yeah.
Whether or not he really has the cognitive ability because he is the current sitting president, and whether or not the 25th Amendment should apply is something that maybe we should be digging into. If they want to.
So once again, the president who repeatedly got lost on his own goddamn lawn, nothing to see here.
Part of their team and no longer president, so it doesn't matter. It's magically gone away.
Yeah.
It's not a cover up if we ignore it.
Yeah, there's no question to be had about why Democrats went along with it. No. We moved along. Suddenly they believe in linear time, Jack. We
they believe in linear time when it suits their needs. Yeah.
I want to save that story for next. We have to get to Cory Booker, Jack.
Oh, yeah, I saw this.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I hate to be the one to tell you, especially if you're a fan of Cory Booker, but Cory Booker is a Nazi.
I did not see that coming. But he didn't do it as fast as Elon did, so it's not as bad, right?
And he's got his gay little pinky out. Sorry, he's not gay.
No.
He's got a beard.
He's totally got a girlfriend.
He did have a girlfriend till she found out he likes dick. I'm not judging him. Just be honest. You and Lindsey Graham need to come out of the gay closet together.
What if they got a nice little bungalow in Westchester, or opened a little bed and breakfast together? That'd be a great sitcom.
It would be. Call it Gay and Gayer.
The neocon and the commie.
Foot tapping. Look, he's not actually doing a Nazi salute, but he literally did the same thing Elon did.
Yeah, it's
from the heart out. And they're like, oh my God, Elon's a Nazi. And with Cory Booker, they're like, what? We couldn't find a source in his campaign to tell us he's a Nazi, so we can't call him one. I love that that one clip that we didn't watch of Thompson and Jake Tapper from a few moments ago.
Mm-hmm.
In there, we get to hear about how the press isn't actually liberally biased. Yes, there tend to be more liberals in the journalism space, but that's not really what happened with the whole Biden thing. And then you see shit like this, where when Elon does it, plastered everywhere, Elon does Nazi salute. Booker, who is clearly positioning himself for 2028.
Yeah.
I mean, he gives his stupid ass speech the one day, to the longest speech in Senate history. Good for you. You talked about nothing for 24 hours. I can do that. Then he did his sit-in on the steps of the Capitol. And now he's given all of he's clearly setting himself up for a bigger run. And he's doing the same thing that Elon did. And they're like, oh, we don't see nothing here.
I'm sorry, when you said bigger run, I heard failure.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's already run for president once and failed hard. Yeah, this is how Newsweek reported it. Booker spoke at a Democrat convention in California on Saturday, ending his speech with a gesture where he put his hand over his heart and extended his hand out to the crowd, much the way Musk and Bannon did, though not as forcefully as Musk did it. You see, he's a casual Nazi, Jack.
Yeah, just he's a relaxed, stay-at-home son kind of Nazi.
He's a passive Nazi. He's not as forceful about it. Oh my God, that's the media, you guys. This is why I make fun of them all the time and tell you what shit they are, because they are. Anyway, let's get back to let's do this first. We're not going to watch this whole video, Jack, but Greta Thunberg is out and about again.
Yeah, I heard she's going to the Gaza to break the conditioning or whatever.
Yeah, her and apparently some Australian chick and a bunch of other idiots are taking a boat ride. We're not going to listen to them. There we go.
Yeah, there's like 12 of these dumb bitches. And they're flying a Palestinian flag, by the way.
You're ruining it.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to let it play.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
Yeah, they've decided they're going to break the blockade and go to Gaza, flying a Palestinian flag. You do realize that they're at war with these folks and can now shoot you, right?
The last time she was supposed to do this, she couldn't get on the boat, and they got shot at. So it wouldn't surprise me if this happens. They're just really dumb.
You're trying to take a ship flying the flag of their enemy to their shores. Are you insane? And somebody said, "Oh, you have to understand this. I understand this is a publicity stunt. I really do, but they really could get killed, and then they get to be the martyrs they want to be, sure. But nobody's going to remember Greta Thunberg if she gets killed by the Israelis floating in with a fucking Palestinian flag on her boat."
Well, if they'll remember her, but not with the proper context, because once anybody looks into it, and they're, "Oh, you're flying the flag of their enemy." Yeah, that's why they shot you, dumb. She'll be remembered as being an idiot, which is what she is. These people are idiots.
I know in the Western world, most of y'all don't really care about your flags and stuff. Not our audience. But on the seas, your flag fucking matters.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in wartime, flags are very important for identification purposes. Even historically, especially historically, I would argue, knowing who your ship belongs to is a big deal. And this is just dumb. These are people that lead very cushy lives, do not realize the danger they are putting themselves in. You're in enough danger just being in a boat heading toward the shoreline in a war zone. But if you're flying the flag of one side, the other side's going to see you as a threat. I don't know why we have to explain that to people, but for the love of Christ, this is a terrible, ill-conceived idea made by Western comfy liberals, probably of like upper middle class or above.
Look at the idiot on the screen right there. I'm not a big fan of anime, you know that, but I do know of some, and he is dressed like Luffy from that gay show everybody likes.
Oh yeah, One Pieces or something.
One Piece,
like that.
there you go. Yeah,
yeah. That's the favorite character of the Houthi terrorist.
Yeah, everybody wants to be Luffy, you know, because they're all gay.
Because they don't understand that cartoons aren't real life.
Yeah, look, I'm just fucking with you, anime fans out there, but he is. Look at his outfit. Tell me he's not going for the Luffy look here.
Probably.
And I do want to give them a little credit, Jack, because I keep telling, hey, all you fucking idiots are like, Palestinian needs protect. Go do it. Go do it. And good for them. Go live your dream. You might want to take that flag down.
Go live your cause. And if you die because you're fucking tard running into a war zone, I respect the commitment, but not the effort, because you are really bad at this.
I'm not having a Biden moment by not remembering One Piece. I literally don't care about anime, so I don't put enough thought in it to remember it.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about cartoons. If it came after like 1989, I likely don't care about it. I did like Avatar: The Last Airbender, but I don't give a shit about anime.
I don't have anything against cartoons. One, I just don't like the anime style, and I really hate anime fans. Because god damn, you make Star Wars fans, the hardcore nerds that we used to make fun of, look like they get pussy constantly.
Yeah. Animu people are a unique breed, shall we say.
Hashtag not all.
You ever watch glomping videos?
What?
Yeah, it's a thing that Animu people do. When they see each other at a convention, they run at each other and give each other a massive hug. So it's like a cartoonish smacking of two objects. And they're usually fat people. But they call it glomping. And I was like, you just are spastics. Don't try and dress it up.
Carrier says he hates us. I don't hate you. I love you. I love you. Just don't let one thing become your entire personality.
Yeah. You see it a lot with tourists, as we call them in the industry. They're fake fans that have built their entire personality off of like Star Wars or Funko Pops. And that's it. That's all they have. They can't talk about anything else. They specialize usually in one cartoon, and everything else is stupid.
I love Star Wars, the original. And if we go back to our youth, there were the kids who were overly excited about it, and I fucking hated them.
Yeah, well, we had a diversity of things to look at. We had Star Wars, we had G.I. Joe, we had Star Trek, we had Thundercats, depending on the era, because that was at He-Man prior to that. There were a lot of different shows you could be into, and most people would watch different ones. They wouldn't get obsessed with just one. It's kind of weird.
This one is just funny to me. We're not going to read the story, but we're going to talk about it. I don't remember their names, so I'm going to call him and her.
Leg Bud Johnson.
This gentleman right here, we'll call him Steve. Steve wins the lottery, Jack. And you'll notice on the check there that it says Crystal. I'm guessing her name is Crystal. It's not Steve's name on that $5 million check. So Steve buys himself a lottery ticket.
Uh-huh.
He lives in Winnipeg and he wins a $5 million jackpot.
Nice.
But he lost his wallet, so he didn't have his ID. So him and his woman, not married, decide they'll put it in her name.
Nope.
And they'll go collect the money and live happily ever after. At least that's what Steve thought.
Yeah, that's a trap. No, just wait till you find your wallet. And you never tell anyone. If you're not married, you don't tell your partner. No, you tell your wife maybe. But yeah, you wait till you find your wallet and ID. You don't fucking give that to a girl. Has no one ever watched Judge Judy? This happens with cell phones every episode on her show. I don't even know this story. I can tell you what happened, right?
Go ahead.
They broke up and she took the money.
You read this story. How dare you pretend you didn't?
No, I didn't.
I know you didn't, because it's that fucking predictable.
Yeah, exactly. Because literally they do this all the time on Judge Judy. It's like loaning somebody money and they say, I'll pay you back with my tax return. You're never seeing that money. And if you're dating someone and buy them a cell phone or a car and you break up and they keep it, you should be shocked, okay? You shouldn't be. It's just how it happens every time. They will run up the bills or parking tickets, and you're going to suffer. Your credit will be destroyed, and you're not getting a penny.
Evolved asks, has he tried suing? The reason that this is in the news is because he is suing her for that $5 million.
But she had physical possession of the ticket, so they're going to side with her.
It depends. I don't know, because if he can prove he bought it, he might have a case here.
She's a woman.
I don't know Canadian law well enough. I mean, this is Winnipeg.
It's Canada. She's a woman and maybe an ethnic minority of some kind.
I feel no sadness for Steve here, because how fucking dumb can you? How long does it take to get an ID in Winnipeg?
I don't know. Look, I understand love and all that, but trust but verify. If you don't have a ring on it, that commitment ain't real. She's going to cut and run because she likes her $5 million more than she likes your tubby middle-aged, middle-class ass.
They were in love, Jack.
Yeah, they were in love till he got $5 million in her name, and then she's like, fuck you. I don't need you no more.
You said earlier I wouldn't even tell my wife. I mean, technically it's still her money, so not telling your wife isn't going to save you.
But it'll let you cash the ticket and maybe make some good financial decisions before she finds out.
Not having any kind of legal obligation and then giving her a $5 million ticket. And my favorite part of the story is he says that he did it because he trusted her.
Well, he's a fool.
I don't trust you that much, Jack.
I wouldn't trust me with the $5 million either, because you don't know how people are going to respond when they're dumped with $5 million. Now I'm too lazy to rip you off because it's a lot of work.
Well, for that much money, you can pay somebody to rip me off.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't considered that. But yeah, it'd be foolish to do that. You don't just, I love my girlfriend, so she's an honest person automatically. No. You don't know what her intentions are, and besides which, there's too many people out there that put money above all else. It's just, statistically, you're going to get screwed. This isn't the 50s where people married for love. No, this is the modern era where everybody's trying to upgrade, and you are a stepping stone on their path to better success and bigger dicks and fancier cars.
Maybe she took his wallet. I have no idea about that. Maybe she did. And then she's like, we should put it in my name.
I have a feeling he is her wallet, or was.
Well, still is now, technically, for a long, long time.
Yeah. I suspect she's probably going to get to keep all of this. She might give him a couple $100,000 as hush money, but that's about it. He might get some kind of payment just to go away.
Best case scenario, absolute best case scenario. They were wildly in love, Jack. And he did trust her and she was going to stay with him forever. Okay. You then put the money in her name and then something goes wrong.
Yeah. You have a fight.
Even what if, and I'm not wishing this on anybody, but what if she gets this money and then somebody in the Canadian government convinces her to kill herself? They're not married. This money doesn't go to him. It goes to her relatives.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is no good out. Wait a month. I don't know how long you have to get this lottery. I know in the States, I think all of them are a year. If you can't get a fucking ID card in a year, I don't know what to tell you. Don't. She has no legal obligation to you.
No.
If they were married and she pulled this shit, he would at least be entitled to half of it. But you weren't even married, motherfucker.
Yeah, you're entitled to none of it. Even under like Canadian civil law, because if they were just dating, it's still her money now. You gave it to her.
Yep.
By handing over that ticket, letting her cash it in, it's her money. She owes you nothing. You're not even like what do they call that when you live together for like 5 years?
Common law.
Common law. Yeah, you're not even common law married. So you're going to get a minuscule fraction of this as hush money if you're lucky. And chances are in commie Canada, they're not going to give you anything, little white boy.
And actually, I think he's Mexican. He looks kind of Mexican. Maybe Cuban. I don't know.
That's more white adjacent than she is.
Let's say, for argument's sake, he wins and gets all that money back. Could you not see the state then going after him for defrauding them by having her turn in his ticket?
Yep, absolutely. And you know what? If she's some kind of Asian there, it looks like. If she's First Nation, he's never getting that money.
Sure, yeah.
He's not going to win it all because they are so self-flagellating for apologizing to the First Nation peoples. They're not going to take that money from her. It would look too bad.
This is Darwinism. What kind of idiot signs that over to somebody that he has no legal connection to? That is it's just stupid.
It's what we've done to men. They've cucked them so badly that they're like, "Oh, just give it to my girlfriend." Instead of thinking like the obvious, like, I'm not telling anyone I won this until I get a lawyer.
I could see the idealism that leads to something like this.
Yes, but that's unfortunately what it is, idealism, which means it doesn't work in the real world 99.999% of the time. It's foolish, misplaced trust. Nobody,
I don't want to say nobody, but most people are never put in that situation where you have to be like, should I give my girlfriend this $5 million ticket? It's not like that's a normal thing for us to do, but maybe just a little self-awareness.
A little critical thinking skills. Look, you have to look at your partner as, will this person stay with me in the dystopian post-apocalypse? That's how your animal brain should be working.
I 100% would give Lady Monkey the ticket to go cash in, and here's why. She could have left my cripple useless ass a long time ago and hasn't.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you have a trust there, but most relationships and a divorce, like, you have a 50% chance your relationship's going to fall apart. And it's even more so if you're not married.
Yeah, this isn't even something where, you provide for her. No. I've been worthless for about a decade now, Jack, and she has stuck by me. I've asked her many times, why haven't you left me? I am worthless. No, guys, I'm not down on myself, but when it is occasionally, annoying to be like, I'd like to help you with the dishes, but I can't stand right now.
Yeah, but see, you gotta lure women in and get them comfortable enough where they're too comfortable to leave you.
Oh,
It's not manipulation. It's brainwashing. I mean, love.
Michelle, thank you. Just tuning in. Are we sure he isn't a lesbian? Yeah, he's a dude.
He kind of looks like a lesbian. He dresses like one.
He does look like a lesbian. That is a good point. Thank you for the donation. Brought to you by you guys. Maybe Lady Monkey's playing the long con. If she is, she's really good at it.
She's slowly building up insurance policies on you.
Your very emergency food rations, Monkey. Oh, Jack, she got so disappointed today. I got to tell you a story. My little garden's going, right?
Yeah.
And we got strawberry plants this year. And the third day that we had them, it already started to fruit. And we had one beautiful little strawberry out there.
Nice.
And she finally, I'm like, you need to go eat that because it's going to go bad on the vine. And we went out today to do our regular shopping. Did a lot of window shopping, Jack. I walked 3 large box stores today. And by the end of it, I could barely move.
Yeah, I think I'd be tired from that.
But before we left, I went over to the plants because I hadn't been outside in a couple of days and checking them out. And I'm like, yeah, you need to eat this one. So we go do all of our shopping, and we come home and we have dinner. And then she's like, I'm going to go check out the plants. And she was going to eat the strawberry. One of the little critters that lives around here stole it.
Oh, figures.
It is just gone. So either my neighbor's kids came all the way up here, which I don't see them doing, or a bird, squirrel, or chipmunk found it. She was so disappointed.
Yeah, imagine.
Well, fuckers ate our strawberry.
You're out shopping and she's thinking about that strawberry. Like, we grew that. I'm looking forward to eating that. And then finally you go to do it and it's gone.
It's just gone.
That'll crush your day, man.
Yeah, and whoever took it did a good job. They didn't rip up the plant at all, and there is no remains of it. So, yeah.
I think clearly you have a Bigfoot living in your backyard.
We might. We have a ton of birds around here, and one of them lives literally right above my door. Our front door has just this little ledge up there, and birds every year kill their babies up there because it eventually falls over and the birds die.
Yeah.
And we have one right up there now that has almost been caught by Phoebe twice, because when we open the door, she takes off. And when she takes off, she flies really low before she goes up into the trees. And sometimes when we open that door, Phoebe shoots out. And that little bird has had some near misses. She'll end up eating.
We have a solution at my house for this. It's called a broom. You get it up there on the ledge and smack that shit down. And then you don't have a bird up there anymore.
I don't mind the bird living there because it's not destroying my house in any way.
You say that till it poops on your head when you walk out the door.
Oh, no. The one that bothers me, my son's car the other day, we went out there. The turkeys, I don't know how many of you guys know this, but turkeys like to roost in trees. And
ironically, because they're huge.
And went out there, and my son's car is just covered in bird shit, and not little bird shit, turkey shit, which is like piles.
Yeah, it's like retard drool.
Yeah, the first time they ever did that, it was way back when we owned our Jeep Liberty, and it was all white, Jack. And we come outside, and it just looks like there's mud all over the car. And Lady Monkey's like, "What is this?" I'm like, "That's turkey shit." I hate turkey.
Well, look, I have a theory that I'm going to craft right now for you. That the reason you don't do anything about the turkeys is they have an aura of tryptophan. So you're like, I'm going to kill that damn turkey. You get out there like, I'm going to take a nap. Fuck this.
No, see, we don't have a turkey. We have like 30 turkeys when they come through.
I know. And imagine the feast you could have with that.
We had a cat one time called Boone, and he was an indoor outdoor cat. He just moved in with us. We came home late at night one night. It's dark outside, and we owned a black cat at the time. And we're bringing stuff in from the car, and my son reaches down and picks up our black cat and brings it in. And then we get everything inside, and we realize that's not our cat. But by this time, Boone had already made himself at home.
I live here now.
And he did. He just started living with us, but he was an indoor-outdoor cat. And one day, Lady Monkey goes outside. He killed like every small animal around here. He made Lady Monkey upset one day because she goes to go outside and he pops his little head up from the grass and he's got a dead chipmunk in his mouth.
Aw. It's for the family.
She saved his little ass one day because she sees him out in the yard and he is getting down and his butt's starting to wiggle. And she looks over to see what he's looking at. And it's a full-grown turkey. That turkey would have fucked that cat up because he had a whole group of turkeys with him. But he was going to take one out, boy. Oh, I found a new toy for Phoebe today.
Oh, yeah?
You know how I've told you she likes packing paper? She likes anything that's like that. So paper bags, if we eat out or bring home like McDonald's or something, she will try to crawl in the McDonald's bag. She loves that kind of paper. They sell paper bags like that, the grocery bag size, infused with catnip.
Oh, my.
And I set it up for her, and this cat lost her damn mind. And then Lady Monkey thinks right after this, it's a good idea to take the cat outside with us. And Phoebe's
so the cat's tripping balls and you're letting him outside?
Yes. And she starts darting all over the yard as we're trying to bring her in. And finally, Lady Monkey goes, use your voice. My dad voice scares even me. And so I'm getting right up to her and she starts to move and I just yell, no. And she lays down. And I go to take a step. I take a step towards her and I'm just about to get her. And she just moved far enough where I couldn't reach her. And we did this 3 times before I yelled no again. And she stopped moving. And I put my hand on her and she goes, like, and so then I pick her up and she pulls her claw back like she's going to slap me in the face. But she did think better of it. Like, cat, the fuck. And then Lady Monkey's like, I don't know why she acted like that. I was like, because she's high. You can't let the high indoor cat outside.
Look at the colors, man.
I love that fluffy little shit. Sometimes when she gets in trouble and I pick her up and then I put her down, she'll turn around and immediately attack my leg. And when I put her down, once we got inside the house, she did that, but she didn't attack. She just went, never mind. And then she flopped on the floor. My cat flops on the floor, Jack. She doesn't lay down calmly. She just, like an elephant falling on its side. And when she does it, it makes an audible thump.
She's not that fat.
She's not, but she doesn't lay down calmly like a normal cat. She's just like, I can't be bothered to slowly get on the floor. Yes, I'm talking about my cat. You guys will be fine. I was going to come back in, but then I got high. Yes, dangerous. Exactly. It was fun, though. I'm constantly looking for toys to entertain that cat, and finding that was awesome. Because she's not a big fan of catnip, Jack. She likes it okay, but she's not. We had a cat, my daughter's cat. If you held a bag of catnip to him, he would start sniffing it, and then he would jam his paw in there and scoop out as much as he could.
Yeah, that's usually the response.
Yeah, Phoebe, she like huffs it a little bit and then turns away and like, nah, I don't. That's work. My cat is half blind. He has hunted down many leaves. Oh, this is Phoebe scared the shit out of herself. Okay, so the baby was over the other day. We watched her while her older sister, who loves Lilo and Stitch, on the last day of school, after school was over, my son took his oldest daughter to go watch Lilo and Stitch, the live action. And so we watched the baby, and the baby put a magazine on the couch and left it there. And they all leave and everything, and Phoebe notices it from the floor. And she goes up to it really, really gingerly, and she reaches up with her paw and she smacks it, and the page moved, because it's paper.
Yeah.
Which caused her to leap 2 feet in the air, do a half turn, and shoot out of the room.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Over a magazine. Cats are amazing that way.
It tried to bite me.
It moved when I slapped it. There are many times I wish I could just explain things to Phoebe because it would make her life so much easier. That cat is afraid of everything. She's the most spoiled cat I've ever heard of, and she is afraid of everything. It's like you've never had literally any strife in your life after we got you, but she lives like she's an outdoor cat in Gaza. Anyway.
Speaking of cats, though, did you see that Foodie Beauty is in trouble? The fatty YouTuber?
She eat a cat?
No, she stole one.
Oh, dear God. I'm not shocked.
So there's this homeless cat and kitten, right?
Uh-huh.
And she's like, that cat looks sick. And she pretended she couldn't find the mom, apparently. So she took it home, and she's like, we're adopting this. And this is how she got in trouble. She started asking for donations to support the cat. And she lives in Kuwait. And that's illegal in Kuwait.
I'd like to be shocked, but that woman's a retard.
She is such a retard. I don't know what it is about like these like 600-pound fatties. I guess you get dumber, like fat brained or something when you get that big, because they're all really fucking stupid. And this bitch was complaining. I'm like, bitch, you better get on an airplane now and get the fuck out of there. You do not want to go to jail in Kuwait, especially over a cat that you weren't even going to keep.
When you get that big, your whole life is excuses. Fat people were the millennials before millennials were.
That's true. And
so,
as a chubby person myself, I'm not her size, thank God, but it's easy to justify eating a bag of Doritos.
There's a difference from being 250 and 400. There's a whole white woman involved extra there.
Oh, if you get them right, there's 2 or 3 Asians worth.
Fair enough. And then you start getting the 600-pound, and no, these are people whose whole life is delusion, and nobody will be honest with them and just tell them the reality. You're a fat ass that needs to stop eating so much.
Well, I remember watching one of the Amberlynn Reed videos, and she's responding to somebody in her live stream who said, at your weight, you're going to die young. And she's like, don't threaten me. It's not a threat, dumbass. It's saying that you need to lose some weight. But it was just amazing to watch her justifications of like her chat had to basically embarrass her enough to take the kitten back to its mom, this mangy looking thing. And some like local, I think they're called like Paws Kuwait or something like that, had to get involved and take the cats. And then they're like, we're pursuing a legal action with the local police because you're not supposed to fundraise off of animals here.
Let Him Cook says, hey, Monk, I covered that video you guys talked about yesterday. Which video? I'm not being a jackass here. We talked about a lot of videos.
Yeah, we forget a lot of what we do. What's up, Satsu?
Satsu! By the way, his mom is okay.
Oh, good.
For the record, you can ask Jack. When I got off the stream the other day, the first thing I said is I'm going to kick Satsu's ass.
He was talking about the moo cow and the lightly-footed gentlemen that are going to save masculinity.
Satsu, how's mom doing? For those of you who don't follow Satsu, you should, but his mom just had brain surgery, and Satsu left me hanging all night about how it went. Little fucker. I'm still mad at you over that.
You know, he was out there singing all night long. All night. I'm going to leave Monkey hanging all night.
Some of my favorite interactions on stream have been with Satsu's mom. She is such a sweetheart. I love her.
Yeah, if you guys aren't
Not that-
subscribed to his Let Him Cook channel, go check it out.
Check out 2 Cents Plus. That's where he is most of the time.
Yeah, subscribe to both of them.
Even if I didn't like his mom, like I fucking hate his mom. His mom, it's his mom, and he cares about her. I'd be a good friend and be like, man, I hope she's okay. But that I like her too. Like, come on, man. You know I could have been your
she's always
stepdaddy,
seemed
right?
really sweet.
Me and your mom could have hooked up.
Well,
It's not
you
cool
guys
to
are
hit
about
on your
the
mom's
same age,
friend.
aren't you?
No, she's about a decade older than me.
Oh,
Anyway, so what else we got?
did you know the Mexican version of One Piece is called One Piece?
Didn't somebody make a parody video of that?
I don't know, but Cannibal put it in the chat. I thought it was funny.
I think somebody did. Check that out somewhere. There, I swear somebody did a what's the word I'm looking for here? AI parody.
Oh,
Where it was One Piece.
I was going for the Triple X parody, but teach their own.
Kuwait had banned all fundraising, including schools and charities. Really?
Yeah, they don't fuck around over there. Muslims don't like free money, apparently.
I was watching stuff about Johnny Somali, and I finally saw the charges that he's actually facing because I hadn't really looked that deep into it. That dude, wow.
Yeah, and they're charging him as a repeat offender because he pled guilty to some of the previous charges.
Yeah, the ones that
now he's in real trouble because the time goes way up.
Yeah, he was denying the two major charges, which is basically deep fakes of another streamer, and that's illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Pornographic deep fakes of them. And I was watching a video that went over his, let's call them exploits, shall we? Americans, I know we allow you to get away with jackassery in this country, but some of the shit he pulls ought to beat his ass.
Yeah, I mean, there was somebody over there that's a YouTuber that was paying people to beat him up if they saw him.
Oh yeah.
And that guy not in any real trouble. Because everybody hates this guy.
I'm not a big fan of any of these real life streamers who go and be assholes to people. You're just an asshole, and those of you who watch that and you're not doing it, with a weird curiosity after the fact, those who are watching like, this is so funny, I hate you and hope bad things happen to you. And I blame Tom Green. I still blame Tom Green. This is
oh yeah, Tom Green and Jackass.
Yep, it's the effect of them, and I don't get the humor of being an asshole to strangers like that. I like wit, Jack. Like he was going around South Korea being rude to these statues that are very meaningful to them, making a complete ass of himself, going around Japan making jokes about Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Yeah.
Shit they find really funny.
Yeah, they're hilarious. He got in trouble in Japan already. He's already been in trouble in South Korea, and while he was out on temporary release, he still went around acting like a fool because that's how he raises money. And then when they said you're not allowed to do any more filming, and they took away his camera, he went and got another one and did more videos just so because he needed the money probably. But stupid move.
That reminds me
that we're awesome. Yes, like, share, and subscribe, you guys.
There was a video I wanted to talk about, and I can't find it. So the Supreme Court has allowed Donald Trump for the short term, Jack, to kick out people who were in, what's it called, protective immigration. I forget the exact terminology. But it's people who came over here, and the Biden administration takes the existing law, which we'll get to in a second, and bastardizes it. And
I'm shocked.
the law itself requires that the people who come over have a sponsor and the means to take care of themselves. But it's a temporary thing. It's meant for, like, if you have a family member dying or you have a legal case, it is a very temporary stay in the United States for either really short humanitarian stuff or legal things. This isn't something that was supposed to be, hey, you're here and now you get to live here forever. But the Biden administration, that's what they did with it. They started using it to let people come in and be like, no, they're here legally. And so Trump canceled it for, it's either 3 or 4 different countries. And of course, the usual suspects. Oh my God, Trump's being mean to the illegals. They're here legally. Yeah, under a program that the Biden administration, I don't want to give Biden credit for it because he's not smart enough. He's drooling on himself. But somebody in there decided to absolutely rape. And you know what I didn't see any judge do? Put an injunction on the way he was using that.
Well, they agreed with it.
It is literally just for things like funerals, or your mom is sick and you got to go take care of her for a little while. It was never meant to be a constant thing. It wasn't your green card get around. But boy, did they lie about it again, because that's what these kind of assholes do. I can't believe Trump would follow the law like that. There are a lot of really big cases coming down in the Supreme Court this term, Jack. Their term ends at the end of June. So all existing cases will be adjudicated here within the next 30 days.
Well, let's hope they don't puss out and bear it in what's his face, Guerrero fucking spine, and actually vote for the proper stuff.
Well, looking at the ones that are coming up, like one of them is the gender affirming care thing, medical treatment for trans children in states that are banning it. I think that will be allowed. I think that's probably going to be a 5-4 decision, with Barrett going with the other women. It's going to be a badged minority on that one.
How it works. Yeah, Roberts and the ladies. Yep.
No, Roberts won't, because if Roberts does, it'll be 5-4 that'll cut it down. I think they're going to allow it. I think Coney Barrett is probably going to try to go under the general welfare clause and be like, no, the feds get to decide that stuff. But I think the 5 men on it will be like, no, this is a state issue. They can do what they want. There's no good reason to mutilate children and give them drugs that are going to make them sterile.
There is if you don't want humanity to procreate. Or you're a butcher.
The birthright citizenship one, that's coming up. But as I said, it's really not about birthright citizenship. It's really about whether or not the different circuit courts. There's a reason we have circuit courts. And their use of the nationwide injunctions needs to be brought to heel. And I think Roberts is smart enough to see that.
Dude, it's a coin toss these days.
No, if nothing else, he's very savvy about the court, not opinion.
Legacy?
Yeah, legacy. And I think he'll be smart enough on this one to go, yeah, we need to back that up. I think they'll still allow nationwide injunctions, but it's going to be very narrow scope. I'm just letting y'all know what you're going to hear about in the upcoming shows. What's this one? A case about whether or not children have to be indoctrinated into LGBTQ bullshit in their schools. There's schools, Jack, that are not allowing any ability to opt out of this nonsense.
Yeah. That's why we don't need the Department of Education. I think that should be
True.
something the community decides. Parents should be allowed to say, I don't want my kid learning this.
This one, I think, will be 6-3. I think even Barrett will go with the parents on this one, because this is long established tradition, long established precedent of you can have your weird shit in schools, which I don't know why we allow, but you have to allow an opt-out. Circuit courts are called that because way back the judges on them had to ride circuits on horseback between the courts. Interesting. I didn't know that. They're still regional, and each circuit is supposed to be over its own region. The only exception is the 12th Circuit, the one over DC, which has very limited power.
Yeah.
What else do we got? White female employee wants to be able to sue because of DEI hiring, and the question before the court is whether or not a majority can claim oppression. Well, yeah, if you're being racist, it doesn't matter if it's against the majority of the minority.
Yeah, that's the whole definition of apartheid, isn't it? Like a
Yep.
small minority oppressing a majority.
Yep. That's why every time they're like, it's apartheid over there in Israel, like, you don't know what that word means.
Yeah.
There was a family that was wrongfully raided by the FBI, and they want the ability to sue them for damages.
Yeah, that one also affects, like, there's another case, I don't know if it's in the Supreme Court yet, but they were considering it, where a SWAT team came in and trashed a house, and it was the wrong house.
Yeah.
But it was local cops, and they're denying culpability under qualified immunity, even though they had the wrong address. It's basically the same case that the FBI is dealing with, but on a local level.
When the police come in like that and destroy somebody's house, whether federal or state, they should have to pay for it.
Yeah, especially if they got the wrong fucking house.
And look, if somebody wants to say not if it was the criminal, okay, I could even give you that. But definitely if it's the wrong house or the person is just staying there, you know?
Well, I think the case that's in front of the court is the guy ran into this house and he didn't know anyone there. He just ran into it. And they destroyed the house trying to get him out.
Yeah.
And they're refusing to compensate the people that own the house because it was hot pursuit. That's not an excuse to destroy somebody's house.
No. And if you do, look, we allow the police a lot of leeway with stuff, but in this case, if you're going to allow them that, then you still need to take care of the damage you caused in the meantime.
Yeah. You should.
That shouldn't be something the homeowner's left with.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's an insurance policy that cover this, or some sort of fund they could set up federally to compensate victims of crime, like they normally do if you're a regular victim of crime. But you're still a victim here because the criminal came into your house and the feds destroyed it, or it's the wrong address, or they got bad intel, old intel, whatever, and they destroyed your house. You can't destroy other people's shit. That's not okay.
Yeah, that should be something. And look, I don't know about necessarily suing, but the government should cover all the repairs.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a timely manner.
Yeah.
Texas law requiring age verification for access to adult websites. This one, I'm not sure how they're going to go on it. I have a feeling that they're going to shoot this down, that they're going to be like, no, you can't have age stuff like that. And Alito and Thomas will be like, yes, you can.
Well, I mean, look at how many pedophiles are in the government. So I'm sure they're all for little kids being able to look at boobies.
I do understand the argument that I'm a grown-ass adult. I shouldn't have to give you my ID to look at a website.
Yeah, it's just overcompensating because people are bitching that it's too easy to just go, yes, I am 18, and then look at titties.
And they're right. I mean, that is a problem. I just don't know a good American solution to that.
There really isn't one.
Yeah.
I think the important thing is to supervise what your kids are doing and actually, I don't know, be a parent.
And then the final major one they have is whether or not the Department of Homeland Security can revoke visas. Which this one, I would have to see the arguments involved, Jack, because Homeland Security falls under the president, and the president technically has authority over this kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, the Supreme Court has decided that they are the arbiters of all things constitutional, when that's not actually the case. There are powers devoted to each branch of the government, and sometimes the Supreme Court should have say over something, or courts in general, because otherwise instead of one dictator, you've got 9.
Jack, this upcoming Rumble rant is from a story from ages ago. Just wanted to correct something. All right. We'll keep that in mind for when it pops through.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm interested. You guys know I pay attention to the Supreme Court. I enjoy, and it's very important to our lives, Jack.
A little bit.
Most of those things should be affirmed by the court, like the gender mutilation of children.
Yeah, and the president or the Secretary of State's power to revoke visas really shouldn't be questioned here. You don't have to like it, but they should have the ability to revoke a visa. Some people shouldn't be here.
Technically, this should all fall under Congress, but Congress gave us the Immigration or the Refugees Act.
They're the ones that abandoned their power years ago because they're fucking lazy douchebags who don't want to be held accountable.
Yeah. Thank you, Dangerous. AOC has a Bachelor of Arts majoring in International Relations and Economics. I have to point this out because everyone gets that wrong. By the way, it's a Bachelor of Art. By the way, is a Bachelor of Arts useless in the U.S. as it is in Australia? Bachelor of Arts here is a catch-all term, and like an economic degree does fall under a Bachelor's of Arts. So I hear what you're saying in getting the correct wording, but it's a distinction without a difference.
Yeah, because it's very nebulous. Some things are art and some are science, but there's fields that we consider science for some reason that are actually more of an art than a science.
But with economics, it still falls, or at least in most places, still falls under art. So that's just a catch-all kind of general term, like groceries.
Yeah, it could mean useless or useful depending on what the degree is in.
Yeah. As far as economics, it's absolutely useless because economics is useless. There are very few principles in economics that are universal, and the rest of it is everybody guessing. This thing happened once, so it's going to happen every time. That's why all throughout the Trump administration, even without COVID, the first Trump administration, Jack, they were like, we're due for an economic collapse. We're due for a recession. Why? Because Trump. I read a book that said it.
Yeah, Orange Man's bad. Look, you don't know what's going to inspire people to be very stingy or very loose with their money. Because like the toilet paper shortage. We didn't have a toilet paper shortage. Australia did. But everybody here heard that story in a vague way and panicked. You know what we make here in the United States? Toilet paper. There was no shortage. Well, it was just a bunch of people freaked out and overcompensated. You see it with the stock market all the time.
We have a belief in this country that goes back to the Depression. And it does kind of follow that about every 10 years there's a recession. But what they never talk about is that the reason that every 10 years there's a recession is because for that decade, they're preparing to fight that recession. And then they're like, look, we had one. Like, really, when you did the exact same thing you always do. And Trump did the opposite. He pushed for them to keep interest rates low. And oddly enough, we did not have the recession that they always were. And we didn't have a hyperinflated economy like that. If we don't raise the rates, inflation's going to go crazy. Except it didn't.
Yeah.
And-
we had depressions before the Great Depression. Calvin Coolidge notoriously did nothing when there was a recession, and it all worked itself out.
Because that's what happens. It's markets ebb and flow, and people panic, like you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And if they would stop panicking, we'd have a lot less problems. And that's what Trump brought us during his thing. That's why they were so desperate for COVID.
Yeah.
Because they needed that recession. And the only reason we had a recession there is because they shut it. It was an artificial recession.
Yeah, and with the toilet paper thing, if people had just rationally calmed down, looked at the news, and sussed out that the shortage is not in the United States, they wouldn't have panicked, because you can't tell when people are going to panic sometimes. People panic over the dumbest possible crap. You just never know. So that makes economics more of an art, because the human factor changes everything. Yeah, on paper, you could say, look, we're due for this recession. But if people aren't told to panic, sometimes they don't. And even when they're told that, they're like, nah, not this time. You just don't know.
Danger says here in Australia, the Bachelor of Arts is a very easy degree to get and kind of a joke. Here, I would say that would be like poli-sci.
Or gender studies.
Gender studies. But those both fall under arts degrees.
Yeah. But so do a lot of like education degrees. And,
yep.
There's arts is a broad term.
And with that broad term, we don't deal with broads around here.
Yeah, this is a He-Man Woman Hater Club. Real quick though, thank you, Evolved Potato. The age verification on porn sites, I think, would effectively ban any free porn site, because I don't think it's economically viable to run the system of age to verify age, and all of the fewer viewers you'd have because they don't want their ID on there.
Yeah.
I think that would be a massive blow to the porn industry, and not in a fun way.
Yeah, because this isn't the same as back in the days of magazine porn, where you'd have to go in and show your ID to buy it. They didn't keep a copy of your ID on file.
Yeah. I think the porn industry is definitely one of the leading industries when it comes to stuff like this.
Yeah.
Because they're the most affected, and it's a big economic hit. And you're effectively doing a backdoor restriction on their ability to do business. And that's kind of shitty. I don't think this is going to hold up, because unless they get all puritanical about it.
Steve says Bachelor of Arts is a group. People are thinking of a bachelor's, a BA in fine arts. They maybe. Because a bachelor's in fine arts is a Bachelor of Arts degree, but it's specifically in something gay.
I knew somebody that had a Bachelor in Fine Arts, and I said, "What, do you go to museums?" You go, that's pretty.
Yeah.
Didn't go over as well as I'd hoped, but
but anyway, guys, we're gonna wrap up here. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. Jenna said always has a toilet paper shortage. They have lots of kids. It is just a good idea to keep, I think, at least one extra pack, whatever pack you buy, one extra pack on hand. And for me, Jack, that came out of living places where they had hurricanes.
Yeah.
And for some reasons, it's like we have it with snowstorms here. It makes even less sense with the snowstorms, but there's a snowstorm coming Thursday. Wednesday, you're doing your normal shopping and you realize you're living in the zombie apocalypse as the water's all gone and the perishable foods or non-perishable foods are all gone.
Mm-hmm.
And guys, the snow will be cleared in 2 days.
Yeah, I have an emergency management merit badge. I just stock ahead, and then I don't have to go to the store because I'm lazy.
There's a lot of things that we shop for that we shop one product more than we need. So I use a lot of Miracle Whip, Jack. shocking, right?
I'm horrified to learn this.
So I have one in our pantry and one in our fridge. And when the one in the fridge is empty, it goes on the list to get a new one, even though we have one.
Yeah, I keep several weeks worth of canned goods and non-perishables around, and 2 or 3 packs of toilet paper and an extra pack of paper towels, because I love paper towels. It's the greatest invention on mankind's ever made, next to the spoon. But I keep all that stuff on hand because I don't know, I might not feel like going out on the day I normally do grocery shopping. Maybe I'll be sick or just broke. You never know. So I just try and be prepared for the times, the lean times, as the kids would call it.
Well, it sucks when you go to grab something and you realize you'd already used the last of it, especially if you're talking about toilet paper.
Yeah.
Like,
Nobody
shit,
wants to run out of essentials.
I need a shark gun.
Yeah, I have probably 8 things of soap on standby because it's the one thing I forget to pick up at the store the most. Hand soap. Every time. I have like 50 bars of soap. Seriously, 50 bars. My mom kept buying them for me for a while. So I had at one point, I had like 300 bars of soap.
I don't like bar soap. I like liquid soaps.
Yeah, well, for hand soap, I use liquid, but my mom kept buying me all this soap because she had coupons. So it was like buy one, get one free. So she'd buy like the 8-pack and get a free 8-pack, and then I'd have 16 bars of soap. It was great. I haven't had to buy soap in like a decade. I'm not even kidding. I still have like 50 bars of soap.
Oh my God, Steve. Steve says, I have 100 tins of tomatoes, but I'm a prepper. When I first read that, because of my eyes, I read tampons, and then I looked to see who said it, and it said Steve, and I was like, what is Steve doing?
No, that's future currency in the apocalypse is what that is, buddy. Also check your Streamlabs.
Oh, why didn't I get an alert?
I don't know.
I was closing the show down, wasn't I?
I want candy.
Oh, I hate that song.
Oh, I know, but the chick that sang it, weirdly attractive. I don't know.
Evolved, thank you. We also didn't have a toilet paper shortage in Australia just because of the COVID restriction. Delivery trucks were waylaid, and when it did come, the panicking people bought it all. Then they had to wait for another shipment and repeat the panic. Yeah, that happened here. I mean,
yeah. Well, they described it as a shortage, but the articles were about you guys, and nobody read that far down apparently, and they just spazzed out because I saw it all over Facebook. Like, there's a toilet paper shortage. I was like, it's in Australia. Calm down. We make toilet paper here. We're not short. There's warehouses of that shit.
We had a shortage here just because of the panic buying. It was just reloading the shelves.
Yeah, but there was so much of it still in the warehouses until it got to the critical mass where they couldn't keep up with the demand because, like, that one dude built an entire throne out of toilet paper and hand sanitizer. That's ridiculous.
Even with all of that, I don't remember a single story about somebody like, I couldn't even wipe. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, smart people were a lot more prepared for that. Because, like I said, I had a bunch on hand, so I wasn't that worried about it.
I bought a shit ton of it, and I did it because my children, if they couldn't get it where they lived, I wanted to have enough that I could get it to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. But people were being absolutely ludicrous about the whole thing.
Yeah.
So
I was part of the problem, but for a good reason. Just saying. Anyway, guys, we'll wrap it up here. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for the donations. You guys are so kind. Jack, anything you want to show?
Nope, haven't finished anything. Got a bunch of stuff in the works, but haven't finished anything just yet. But yeah, thank you for the donations. You guys are awesome. Thanks for coming out night after night and supporting the show.
One Christmas, I didn't really know what I wanted, so I got given like half a dozen cans of deodorant. Do you guys use like spray deodorant down there? You ever use spray deodorant? That stuff's weird.
I don't care for spray deodorant because that means I'm gonna mace myself and smell like body spray when I go to the hospital. I'll be like, oh, I accidentally sprayed my eyes with some spray. Why do your eyeballs smell like Axe? You know? So I just stick with my Old Spice like an old man and move on with my day.
Every so often, like we'll go somewhere like to her dad's house or something. If I forget deodorant or whatever, I'll grab Lady Monkeys and put it on.
So you smell like secret.
Every so often, you just get this whiff of baby powder. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Oh yeah, it's my armpit. Did you already shill?
Yes.
Okay.
Although I'd like to point out why I wear Old Spice, so I remind her of her dad.
There you go.
Nothing makes a chick more turned on than a reminder of her father. It's the weirdest thing.
You remember when men's deodorant was just Speed Stick or generic? And now there's like 40 different kinds and 900 different scents of each one.
Yeah, it's weird. Although some of them are pretty good.
I use Dove right now.
Crap. What?
I use Dove right now. Theirs is actually pretty good.
Oh, really?
Keeps me from stinking.
I got the Old Spice Volcano one. I really like that one.
I have two different ones. I have an Axe one because I do like Axe deodorant. Axe body spray is the devil's sharts.
Yeah,
but
God, that stuff stinks.
I do like their deodorant ever since it came out, but they keep changing the scents and adding more, and they stink now.
Well, that's what they do is they find something that people like, and then they turn it into garbage.
Jack, a pleasure as always, my friend.
I'm always glad to be here.
Why would you want your pits to smell like a volcano? To scare off the Pompeians.
Yeah, you got to keep those Italians in check.
Damn,
they might form a circus in your yard.
Hairy little bastards. Guys, thanks for watching. A pleasure as always. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
I'm not singing for you fuckers. Damn it. Every time.